William Crawford, born September 2nd, 1722 to June 11th, 1782, was an American military officer and surveyor who worked as a land agent alongside George Washington prior to the French Indian War. In 1755, Crawford was commissioned in the Virginia militia and served in the Braddock Expedition, holding the rank of ensign. Like Washington, he survived the disastrous battle of the Monongahela, otherwise known as Braddock's Defeat. During the French Indian War, he served in Washington's Virginia Regiment, guarding the Virginia frontier against Native American raiding parties. In 1758, Crawford was a member of General John Forbes' army, which captured Fort Duquesne, where Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania now stands. He continued to serve in the military, taking part in Pontiac's War in 1763. In 1765, Crawford built a cabin on the Braddock Road along the Ugality River in what is now Connellsville, Fayette County, Pennsylvania. His wife and 3 children joined him there the following year. Crawford supported himself as a farmer and fur trader. There's a replica of Crawford's cabin in Connellsville, Pennsylvania. When the American Revolutionary War began, Crawford initially was commissioned a lieutenant colonel in the 5th Virginia Regiment on February 13, 1776. A number of historians incorrectly state that Crawford raised the 7th Virginia Regiment near Fort Pitt at the beginning of the Revolution. The 7th Virginia initially was raised at southeastern Virginia near Gloucester Courthouse in Gloucester, Virginia. The confusion may have been due to Crawford's role in raising another regiment near Fort Pitt. Crawford served in the Light Infantry Corps and in several battles, including the Battle of Brandywine in Germantown on October 11, 1777. Militia units from Virginia counties of Prince William, Culpeper, Loudoun, and Berkeley were formed into a brigade and placed under Crawford's command. However, as the war in the western frontier intensified late in 1777, Crawford was transferred to the Western Department of the Continental Army. In 1782, General William Irving persuaded Crawford to lead an expedition against the enemy Native American villages along the Sandusky River. Before leaving on May 16th, he made out his will. Crawford led about 500 volunteers deep into American Indian territory with the hope of surprising them. However, the Indians and their British allies at Detroit had learned about the expedition in advance and brought about 440 men to the Sandusky to oppose the Americans. After a day of fighting, the Americans found themselves surrounded. During a confused retreat, Crawford and a dozen of his men were captured. The Delaware Nation tribes tortured and executed many of the men in retaliation for a massacre that happened earlier in the year in which 96 peaceful Christian Indian men and women and children had been murdered by Pennsylvania militiamen. Crawford's execution was brutal and was overseen by Simon Girty, a former soldier under Crawford's command who deserted his post after being wanted for high treason in 1778. Crawford was tortured for at least 2 hours before he was burned at the stake. His nephew and son-in-law were also captured and executed. The war ended shortly thereafter, but Crawford's horrific execution was widely publicized in the United States, worsening the already strained relationship between Native Americans and European Americans. In 1982, the site of Colonel Crawford's execution was added to the National Register of Historic Places. Well, that is it for William Crawford. I hope you learned something because I learned a great deal by putting this video together. Thank you. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and please visit a local history museum or historic site near you.